Great. All right, guys. I hope everyone's good. Everyone can hear me yet? Great stuff. So tonight's piece is more about the man than any type of sort of strategy or tactic on doing something. It's more about you as an individual and a person. And the way that I want you to be able to look at this is I want you to almost look at this as an aid to building up your identity, who you are as a man, the reflection in the mirror, the standards that you uphold, the conversation and the narrative that you have with yourself, right? So, for me, I think that's like super important part of this process. Um, so we're going to go through this process. There's going to be some activity here. So you're going to be doing some stuff. All right. So you need to make sure you kind of got a pen and pad or something there because I am going to get you to go in and kind of start this process of this work and you're going to continue it for the rest of the week. All right, guys. Let me just make sure that everyone's muted. Okay, cool. Right. Can everyone see my screen where it says the identity audit? Great, great. All right, so this is kind of like auditing our identity, right? It's about raising your standards, stripping back what you're tolerating, all right? So the key part here is that I'm having a lot of conversations with a lot of my guys in the top 1% group in our Mission Pro group, which is our higher level programs. There's an awful lot being tolerated that shouldn't be, all right? Tolerate is such a huge word when it comes to our development. The reason that you're probably not where you want to be is because you are more than likely tolerating a series of people, a series of habits. My series about to go off. A series of excuses, and they are all costing you guys. They're absolutely costing your progression.
I couldn't find that in your Apple Music library.
Brilliant. And a fucking Siri chipping in. And all of these things that you're tolerating is almost if you imagine a brick wall being built. So you want to go down a yellow brick road, and on the end of this yellow brick road is your mission, it's your legacy. And all the things that we do when we tolerate the things that don't benefit us is we build walls that we have to break through or overcome. Okay. And when you tolerate something, you're telling your identity that that is the way that it's going to happen. So when you make an excuse, your identity believes that that excuse is okay. Okay. So for example, if you go to the gym and you tolerate the excuse at the end of the day, I'm feeling quite tired. I'm just going to go home. I'll crack on with it tomorrow morning. That is a small message that is sent to your brain that triggers a behavior, and your brain then thinks that is the behavior that we can get away with. That's the behavior that is all I know. And then you follow that path and you go down that road, and that becomes your identity. So the reason you're not where you want to be within your health is because of the conversation that you're having with yourself, and it all stems to the you tolerating that poor excuse. Like another one for me that kind of really bugbears me is that you tolerate a negative attitude towards yourself. Okay, so I know that the majority of people in here will be tolerating a negative voice in your own head that number one will tell you that you're not good enough, will affect your belief system, will continuously saying what you're doing is not good enough. Okay, so you keep tolerating that. So that then becomes the normal way that you live your life. You build up that psyche, that mentality, and you don't show up to your potential because you tolerate the negative talk. If I came up to you and I turned around and said, right, Michael, you're an absolute cunt and you're useless, and I said that to you every single morning, you'd start to believe that, right? You would. Am I right in thinking that? Any one of you, if I started saying that to you, and then that forms your identity then becomes the comment that I make, but you make that to yourself. Am I right in saying that? Most of you are going through something in that, and that becomes your standard. That's your standard. So your standard are the things that you are still tolerating. Okay. And in order to, what we're going to go through here and go through the audit, is got to upgrade your identity. So we've got to tolerate less. We've got to tolerate less. Okay. I think that's really, really important. We've got to change the narrative. We've got to change the vehicle and in which we are in that is taking us on this journey. What got you this far is not going to get you to the next level. And unless you come off this call and you go, I'm going to make a pact to myself that I am no longer going to be that identity, you will continuously stay stuck for the rest of your fucking life. Okay. We're going to be able to reset your standards. And it's not just the standards that you set yourself when it's sunny and it's a nice day. It's what are the standards that you fall to when life gets really, really tough. Now, I would say that life is tough 85% of the time. Okay. I would say that 85% of our lives are designed to be tough. Tough decisions, grinding it out, things not going our way, things not aligned. About 15% is that what I would call, if you see the hurricanes and you can see the circle in the middle, it's clear day, it's kind of perfect. What a day, what a life. Things are brilliant. Life isn't designed to be like that. And when we have those curveballs, when the storm comes in, when we're backed up against the wall, when it gets really hard, when the struggle comes in, who are you? What standards do you fall to when it gets really tough? And I hate to say it, but for the majority of you, it's weak. Okay. Because when I look through school and I look through the comments, people are still leading with a victim mentality. People are still having a victim mentality narrative. People are still questioning themselves. People are still facing the same fucking problems that they faced a year ago. And that's not progress. That's insanity. Okay, so you have to take a really good look at your mirror. And it's a different story for every single man, by the way. We've got new guys here. We've got guys that have been here for years. You have to take a really good look in the mirror and go, I need to reset the standard. And it's not something, and your identity has to be, it's not just about talk. So if you listen to the podcast that I advertised to you guys this morning in school, if you look at the podcast, I talk about talking a good game will not help you fulfill your mission. It has to be implementation. And it's not tomorrow, it starts tonight. It starts the minute that we leave here. And like I've put there, this isn't about strategy, guys. It's about who you are becoming as a man. Now, every single one of you are here for some reason. And I ultimately like to think that the very top of that list is to become the man that you envisage that you want to be. You want to be this guy. You want to be this guy that shows up to be the king of his home, who is present, who is connected, who is aware, who is somebody that can get their priorities in order, somebody that knows who they are. Okay. And the key thing to understand here, this is not like one of those masculinity masks that we put on. It's just about being who you are. I'm not a believer in masculinity because what masculinity is a set of characteristics, apparently what we're meant to live by. This is what you need to do to be a man. No, this is what you need to do to be content, to find peace, and to know exactly who you are as an individual. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? And I do feel really strongly about that because the stereotype masculinity breakdown is the thing that corrupts the majority of you because you're comparing yourself to this masculinity umbrella that apparently we're all under. And it's about you as an individual. What do you stand for? Okay, what do and don't you want to tolerate? What standards do you need to find peace, contentment, but yet still have an edge, to still have a challenge, to still feel fired? And it's you versus you, not you versus masculinity. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. I don't know how this works. Oh, here we go. 2 seconds. Sorry, let me just move this. This is new software that I'm using for presentations. Here we go. Right, cool. So, what are standards? Okay, so for me, they're your internal operating system. So for me, it's what's in between your ears here. This is your HQ. All right. The way that you operate is all determined from your HQ. If you've ever seen the film Inside Out, which is a cartoon narrative film, for those of you got like kids, You're basically your operational system is run by, I think it's emotion, it's happiness, sad, joy, and anger. All right, and then the second film, anxiety, and all of that kind of comes in. So your standards are how you see or how well your operating system is. Now, you could have an operating system that runs like a 16-year-old McDonald's employee that doesn't want to be there and is a student and it's just like all over the place, is scrambling, is uninterested, is showing up at an average level. Or you could look at the special forces, SAS, SBS mentality, where your operating system is meticulous, it is attention to detail, it's the standard that you hold yourself to. So somewhere along that scale, right? And you're either here somewhere or you're here somewhere. Special forces, somebody that just wants to get by, just like hanging out and bumming it out, right? So special forces here. And you have to kind of look at your standards and you have to be honest with yourself. Okay, you cannot lie to yourself. If you lie to yourself, then you'll get nothing from this. And again, I would say that the majority of people, if this is halfway in the group, are between halfway and at the bottom, bar one or two. You're not the standard that you should be. And if you were, you would be living a much more fulfilling life. You would be in school doing your at least 2 contributions a month. And when I look through who's contributing and I challenge some people, yeah, I really should do it, but I'm busy. Busy fucking is bullshit. No one should be busy. Everyone should be effective. We should be effective. Busy is someone that is in a state of chaos and surviving. Effective is someone that has high standards and is operating at a high level, moving in the direction and aligned with what they want to move forwards with, right? That's a high level internal operating system. Does that make sense? Okay. And that's the difference between you having the success that you're here for or you just being a part of this, just dabbling. I'm just dabbling, and then you going out to your mates bragging, yeah, I'm kind of working on myself. Yeah, I'm doing this and doing that. And actually, you're full of shit. Okay. The guys that I see excelling are the guys that are showing up, doing accountability all the time, posting in school, sharing their wins, sharing their losses. They're aligned. They know exactly what's going on, right? And this is not about perfection. If I put here, look, they're not about perfection. They're about repeatability, which another word for that is consistent. There is, and I want you to understand, there is no perfect standards. In our mind, you think that there is. You think that there are these perfect standards. There are high standards, and that's what we want to hold ourselves to. Okay. That's that self-respect part, that self-dignity, that want to be at a higher level, to gain more traction, to prove everybody wrong, to be the king of your home, right? I'm not sure if James is on tonight, but there's a guy who I've just spoken to and just talking to right now, completely burnt out and fried from work. And he did 2 things today that monumentally changed the way that he operated already. He's only been in it for 2 days. Number one, I made him go and do the school run to be with his boys. And number two, I gave him a finish time when he had to finish work and go to bed with his wife. He hasn't been to bed with his wife in the last 2 years. And I don't mean like, going to bed. I mean, he hasn't gone to bed to go to sleep with her because he's been working to 3 o'clock in the morning for the last 2 years. Okay. And that's mega. That's mega low standards. That's mega like avoiding the confrontation in the man. Yes, he's building something amazing, but at what cost? So that's where the standards come in. And that's immediately how quickly you can do it, right? So when we go through this audit, you can go away and look at the spreadsheet and the worksheet that I've done for you, and you can start asking yourself some of these questions. I can still bet only 10% if you do it. That's not being me being negative. That's me saying you're gonna fall into tomorrow, and then you're by Thursday you'll forget what we've spoken about. It's important that this stays connected, that you do the work on this. When I look at everyone that connected with the work-life balance, I presented a work-life balance course in depth, in detail. Could have probably charged £3,000 for that course. How many people watched it? 10%. And yet there's a whole blueprint of how to have a better work-life balance, of how to structure yourself better. It's like all laid out for you. Okay. So again, it comes down to the standards. I'm busy. I'm tolerating the busy schedule. I'm tolerating the curveballs, right? Your standards are the baseline when the shit hits the fan. So it's a non-negotiable, right? So define your non-negotiables, examples of where standards live. So here's five key things, right? Morning structure. How you start your day determines how you finish. So I harp on about the morning routine, right? And I would love to come live with all of you. Like once a week, go and live with another guy. But unfortunately, I'm married with kids and like I can't do that. But you have to do that. You have to make sure that your standards in the morning are the same. It doesn't have to be sexy. There's times when I wake up, the last two mornings have been horrendous in terms of trying to wake up. I've literally almost still been asleep in a cold tub. So I have a standard that within 5 minutes of opening my eyes and the alarm going off, I have to be in a cold tub. Okay, at 4:15. So I have to be in a cold tub by 4:20. And then I post that up on Instagram. And if I don't, I have to do 10 burpees naked in the garden. So it's kind of like the standard is, and then you go straight from there and you slip straight into yoga, you go straight into the journaling, you go straight into the work, you go straight into the writing, and there is this flow. And the higher prestige your morning ritual is, the more that you are going to get out of it. Okay, treat yourself like a £500,000 Ferrari, not a £350 Ford XR3i. Okay, and what I mean by that is that you would take fucking care of that Ferrari, right? You would take care of it. You'd be out there fucking polishing it. You'd be in the car. You'd be fucking making sure it smelled good. You wouldn't let anybody in there. But you probably wouldn't do that for your Ford XR3i. You probably wouldn't have that commitment. And that is the commitment that you need to have to yourself in the morning. Does your morning routine reflect the standards, the attention to detail that you would pay to if you had a £500,000 Ferrari outside your house, right? D work blocks, protected time for your highest value creation. So kill zones. I talk about kill zones all the time. So one thing that I am doing right now, guys, at the minute is every 15 minutes on my phone, it goes off. I haven't got it with me, but I will stick a picture of this up. And I write down what I'm doing every 15 minutes. So I write down what I've done. So the minute I get into work, usually around 8:45, I usually finish about sort of 5 o'clock in a minute as we're building a project. And every 15 minutes, I just write down 2 or 3 words that I do. And if I get distracted, what I do is highlight it with a highlighter pen. So I don't know, something that you can just, something like this. And you just highlight it over with the yellow. And what you start doing is seeing a trend of your distractions. But what we're doing is we're trying to build your identity to have this higher standard. If you know what you're, and you wouldn't do this more than a week, guys, but if you did this for a week and you tracked every 15 minutes, and then within that hour and a half section, it should be a theme of all the work that you're doing. So if you focus for an hour and a half on deep work on one thing, really what should be in that multitude of like 6 different reports for every 15 minutes is everything to do with that task. And anything not to do with that task is an invasion of your time. You then have tolerated distractions. Then over a week, collectively, that could be almost half a day of distractions where you've fallen behind. And then when you fall behind with work, what do? You then tolerate sacrificing personal space to catch up. So then you're behind in your personal space. So you're tolerating a break of boundaries, which then leads to the next one. Shutting down boundaries, clear endings that preserve energy and presence. When do you get up? When does your morning routine finish? When do you start your deep work? When are your breaks? When do you finish work? When do you switch off your phone? Key questions. There have to be boundaries that you live your life by, that you bound across. The standards. What are the standards? What are you not tolerating? This forms your identity to being the man that you want to be. Okay. Presence with family. Fully engaged with those that matter the most. So, what I want you to do in the comments here, put Y or N. So Y for yes, N for no. And I want you to be 100% honest. Are you your absolute best at home when it comes to being present? When it comes to being present for your kids and your wife, yes or no, 100%. What the fuck is B, Chris Brown? Good. All right. No. Okay, sweet. So already that's a great like you might think, oh my God, I'm an asshole for not. But that's great that you will recognize that, guys. How many times are you not recognizing that? Then you ask yourself the question, why am I not present? Why am I not present? What is stopping me from like switching this off and being fully immersive? It's what you tolerate, right? It's your standards. So your standards are closer to the bum, closer to being low, the further away from the special forces, because you tolerate that. You tolerate the distractions. You don't do your transition room. But what you'll turn around and say to me is, yeah, I'm working on my transition routine. Work on it then. Just work on it then. Do you know what I mean? And it's fucking guys, this is key. This is absolutely key to building your standards. How would you feel if your wife left you because she learned to live without you? You put the fucking phone crying down to me. And I've had those phone calls over the last 8 years. I've had about 10 different phone calls where the guys, and she's turned around and said, it's too late. I can't do anything about it. Because slowly but surely, like our 1% rule, if you 1% every single day are not present, what do you think is going to happen over 1 or 2 years? Yeah. You're gonna slowly drift like this because you're not communicating. You're not connecting. Okay. Physical training, consistent investment in your physical foundation. So I set the bar for myself 6 weeks ago and I train every day. It's a non-negotiable. I train every day, whether it's a gym, whether it's jiu-jitsu, or whether it's running, every single day. I'm not interested in what the fitness people say. I'm not interested in the rest. If I'm going to set the standard, I'm going to train every day because guess what? I'm going to train as a father every day, being a better father. I'm going to train every day as a husband, being a better communicator. I'm going to train every day as a better mentor, as a better businessman, physically. So you've got to do the reps. Got to do the reps, okay? Consistently getting into reps. So these are standards. Does that make sense for everyone? Okay. Is this a guesswork? Oh, here we go. Gee, fuck me, mate. Okay. Cool. All right. So let's have a look here. The gap between who you are, okay, and who you want to be, or who you could be. So there's three key ones here, right? So playing beneath your standards, we've spoken about. You know you're capable of more, yet something holds you back. So here's three key things. Your current habits don't match your aspirations. This is what you want. These are the habits that are going to get you there, but these are the things that you're doing. The people resonate with that. Yeah. This is your aspiration. This is what you're going to do to get it, but this is what you're doing. Why is there that disconnect? Why do we have that disconnect? And my thing is that are we reviewing well enough? I know that a lot of you are not. Some bullshit excuse about why you can't do your morning routine, right? Like literally everything you this should be a book of your life. I should call it not remember the mission builder, but it should be the mission. Like you should look at this and it should be your life in it. You should be able to hand this to someone over 90 days and they should be able to follow a journey. And you should be able to understand if you don't track or manage anything, nothing changes. If you don't reflect on yourself, nothing changes. If you don't act on it, nothing fucking changes, lads. Okay. And you've got to align your structure, your routines, and your systems and your habits so that they are matching the aspirations that you have. Every single one of you has a different aspiration. Every single one of you has a different mission. Ultimately, you're here to better yourself. So what we really have to do, and it's the real grind, and it's where the battlefield lies, is that you have to start fighting what your body and mind is telling you. So if you go back up to here, and I talked about this being, so standards are your internal operating system. The operating system that you are running off right now is the one that has kept you in a drift mode. It's you versus you. One version of you wants to stay in that shit version. It's the beast, it's the chimp. It's like, we're going to keep you there. And you are trying to battle that. And you might have been drifting. The guy that I spoke to this morning, he's probably been drifting for 20 years. Okay, some of you probably been fucking drifting for years before you come into here. But what we have to do and what we fucking have to understand, lads, is that you are in a fight, like mentally, emotionally. And every time that you make that bad decision and you make the excuse or you tolerate bullshit or people in your life, you lose the battle. The mission is the war. Okay. And the battle is all of the little challenges that you're having on an everyday basis. To win a war, you have to win multiple battles. And if you find yourself right now in a place where you are held at the same place, it's because you keep losing the same fight. Some of you have been in here for a long time trying to lose weight and you're constantly losing because your habits do not align. And then you'll come up with the same bullshit. Okay. And I know this is not like, oh God, I thought it was meant to fill me with motivation. Like, this is motivation, right? This is like, this is the reflection in the mirror, right? It's not doom and gloom. I'm just, if you want to get better, you have to look at it, you have to look at what's happening, right? And I could turn around and go, hey guys, it's all going to be all right. You're going to be fine. Just going to keep showing up. But the truth is you're not. And you have to hear it. Okay. You have to shift this identity. You settle for good enough when excellent is possible. You settle for good enough when excellent is sitting there, right there. It's like fucking there. Tomorrow, your standard can go from, oh, that's good enough to excellent. You'd fucking tell your kids that, lads. You would tell your kids, right, is that the best that you can do? Did you give it your best? Are you giving life your best right now? Yes or no? Are you fucking giving it your best? You're not. I know none of you are. One or two of you are. And then that leads to number three. Your potential remains largely untapped. Okay. Billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of people have fucking taken their last breath without reaching their potential. And I imagine that if we are lucky enough to see the last fucking part of our life play out, and then we look back and go, did I reach my potential? Did I actually fucking get it done? That's going to be a very painful end of life. Okay. And the reason that I'm sharing this with you is because everything I'm telling you right now is what I challenged myself with in February. Kind of hit a brick. I always share with you. I hit a brick wall in February and I went, I'm not at the place that I want to be because my habits do not align to them. I'm not showing up enough. As a father and as a husband, I'm not training enough. I'm not pushing myself enough. So I just went, fuck it, I'm going to train every single day. Fuck it, I'm going to run 4 businesses. I'm going to start another 3 up at the same time as this one. Fuck it, I'm going to upgrade the way that we're doing things. Fuck it, I'm going to write a 3rd book. Fuck it, I'm going to apply to hundreds of speakers to start to, and then you just all of a sudden now I feel 3 months later I'm more aligned because I'm showing up as the man that I need to achieve the things I want to. And that is the big difference. And the next one here was what I had to face in February. It's the hard truth, right? Would anyone know who you are becoming watching you for a week? If I come and watched you for a week, if I didn't say anything to you for a week and I come and live with you, okay? If I come and live with you and your wife and your kids and I just fucking observed you, would I know what you're trying to become? Or would I just look at you and think you're just the same as everybody else that hasn't joined up yet, that's drifting? If a video crew from Netflix come to do a documentary on you, and I asked him at the very end, I said, what's he trying to achieve? Could they fucking tell me? Okay. And there's three considerations. Your daily actions reveal your true priorities. Okay. If anyone's read my first book, it's a state of mind. Most of you have read this, I think. I talk about what's your top three priorities. And then I ask you to say, what do your actions dictate your top three priorities are? Because when you go, what are your top three priorities? You go, oh, my family, yep, my health, yep, and my finances, right? And actually, you're fucking burnt out because you're working too much. Okay, you're fucking unfit and fat because you've been eating shit to cope. And actually, you're broke because you're just spending because you got nothing because you don't know what to do, right? So what your priorities are and what you're living are two different things. And that's what I'm trying to say there. Your daily actions reveal your true priorities. And when you audit yourself every 15 minutes with what you're doing with your time, it's going to be a fucking eye opener for you. You're going to look at that and you're going to be like, motherfucker. And I'm going to put that up this week. I must remind myself. And I'll show you. And I will show you this week what I'm doing and what it looks like. The gap between your words and actions is visible to others. So go and listen to that podcast. If you're not listening to the podcast, listen to the podcast. Like the Remember the Mission. It's there to support and back up what we're doing here. That podcast wasn't for you. That was for me. Okay. And I actually recorded that podcast about fucking about fucking 6 weeks ago. And I didn't put it out. And then I re-recorded it again. And I was like, right, I'm gonna put it out this time. And I wish I put it out 6 weeks ago. I don't even know why. I just wasn't sure on putting it out. But I put it out and it talks about everyone being a really good talker and not actually following through, right? We're all good talkers. We're all fucking amazing in bed. You ever remember fucking back in the day, your missus like, I'm fucking incredible in bed, like fucking talking a good game, and you turned out not to be. All right. Your habits broadcast your identity louder than your intentions. Who watches someone and sees someone that's showing up and goes, fucking hell, that guy's on it. Straight away on it. You can see it in the group. They're fucking there. They're doing it all the time. You just fucking know. You can look at a guy and go, fucking that guy's on it. You should want to be that guy that everyone looks at, that your circle of friends look at, that your daughter looks at, that fucking everyone looks at. You want to be that guy, that leading from the front. That's what you should be aiming for, right? Okay, the reset point. This session could flip your next 90 days. Be ready. Small shifts in identity create massive results. What is that? That's the 1% a day. So if I said to you over the next 2.5 weeks, go all in on your morning routine. Like every single day for 18 days, I want you to do something that improves your morning routine every single morning. So whatever you're doing now, tomorrow, wake up and do one small, tiny adjustment that's going to improve it. Okay, then on Thursday, do the same thing. Then on Friday, do the same thing and write down what you're doing. And fucking go deep. Go super deep. Clarity on your standards makes decisions simpler. When you tolerate 90% less of the shit that you're tolerating, life becomes a lot easier. We have turned down in the last 10 days 3 guys to join our program because I'm not tolerating fucking time wasters in here anymore. Okay, this is now going to be a community of action takers, and that's because I decided to stop tolerating fucking that time wasters. I just will not tolerate it anymore. And that decision became easy just like that, whereas before we probably wouldn't have done that. And then all of a sudden, there are people around me that are just fucking making a lot of noise about the stuff that I'm doing, like so-called friends. And I'm just like, I don't want to hang around. I don't want to listen to that negativity anymore. So I just fucking cut it. I took myself out of the WhatsApp group. And I haven't fucking messaged. I haven't replied to, is everything all right? Messages. Because I don't want to tolerate it anymore. You almost free yourself from these burdens. And what you're doing is understanding your identity more. Does that make sense to you? You're understanding who you are as a man anymore. You don't tolerate that shit anymore. You don't tolerate your phone being on. You don't tolerate scrolling the minute you wake up. You're like, fucking, I've got to get my dopamine hit. Okay, you become more of the identity of the man that you want to become. And this is deep shit because this is what is going to get you to the place you want to be. Okay? Is this making sense to everyone? And I fucking really believe in this stuff, guys, which is why I get really super passionate about it. All right, so let's have a look here. So I've probably taken a little too long. So you can do this work during the week. We're not going to do work on the session. I'd rather just sit here and explain it to you, and you're gonna go through this. Okay. What are you tolerating? Audit part one, right? So your current identity, you're going to go through who am I showing up as right now? Your tolerated mediocrity is what am I currently tolerating that's not aligned with my next level. And then your broken self-trust is what actions or patterns are breaking trust with myself. So it's like that constant excuse making that constantly tells you that actually I can't trust myself to show up at that level, right? So this is something I would do monthly. This is something I would do monthly. And if we look at the audit, can everyone see the audit okay? Yeah, everyone see that? Right. So if we go through here we go. Look. Okay, time allowed. You take as fucking long as you want. Who am I right now? Be honest. Don't filter. Describe how you are currently showing up across the life, business, and relationships. What am I currently tolerating that is not aligned with my next level? Okay. What actions or patterns are breaking trust with myself? Okay. Don't judge all my tabs. I know you're all looking at my tabs going, he's got a lot of fucking tabs open. Okay, your next level identity. So this is the second part of the audit, right? So zero tolerance. What would your next level self not tolerate? So you've got to imagine the version of you that is going to be in 3 or 6 months from now, and go, what would he not tolerate anymore? So I give you an example of this earlier about not letting people in that I didn't think were a good fit, not tolerating certain people in my life, not tolerating any day's rest and going all in. So what would that look like for you? What would your next level self not tolerate? And you really have to imagine that. So the under pressure, how does he operate under pressure? So how are you operating under pressure right now? Are you closing down? Are your standards dropping? Are you getting distracted? But how do you want to show up with that problem? Okay, because you've all got great experience with this. How many of you are under pressure right now? Just wave. Personal pressure, career pressure, constant financial pressure. You are in some way, shape, or like we're constantly carrying that pressure, right? Even if you don't think you are, there is some way, there's always a pressure to make a decision. What are we going to do the weekend, love? Oh, fucking hell, I don't know. I'm trying to fucking figure out this, right? So there's always some form of pressure. But how do we operate under that? How do we deal when all of the fucking missiles are coming down on us and you're like, how do I cope with all of this? And this is why I need you guys to get to that next level identity, right? Because when a special forces operator goes into Afghan and the rounds start coming in, they're calm, they're composed, they're conducted, they're intentional. Because if they're not, they're dead. And in some respects, that's life with us. If we're not those things, then we're going to get fucking consumed. We're going to drown. And then we start doing stupid stuff like, oh, I'm just going to have a drink. Nah, I'm just going to get some takeaway. Nah, I'm not going to do my morning routine. Nah, fuck that. Remember the mission course. And then you fuck off and you go back into the ocean of drifting. Okay. And that's how it all starts. I've been doing this a long time and know exactly how the behaviors and patterns work, right? Start doing. So where do I need to start? Sorry, what do I need to start doing daily? Stop doing. What do we need to stop doing? I probably should have added daily on there as well. Okay, these are things that we need to start thinking about in order to get to the next level. What do I need to start doing immediately? From the minute I get off this call, what do I need to stop doing immediately to get off this call? Right? They're things that you need to. And if you look at this, here's all of those questions there, right? So you can kind of get onto those. Cool. All right, killing your consistency killers. Consistency killers. All right, name the specific habits sabotaging your growth. Be specific about when and why they occur. Okay, so why we need to do this. Awareness is the first step to change. You can't fix it if you don't recognize it, right? So I would say one particular habit that a lot of people have is social media scrolling, right? This is quite a huge habit that not only distracts you from connection, it distracts you from peace. I believe that it triggers your belief system and your emotional system. I think it creates a lot of insecurity in people as well. So let's just say that's one of them. Okay. So it's understanding, right? What is the one thing that's sabotaging your growth? It might be this, and it's understanding what it is. And you can just go in and you can just list all of the things. And it's really good to put yourself in an environment where you can start thinking about these things, even if it's just slightly killing your consistency. Put it in there. Okay. So then we got to cut. So eliminate one major consistency killer this week. Make it non-negotiable. Okay. Immediate action creates momentum, provides, proves to yourself that you change is possible. So if you commit to this, this is what I would do: is that before you go to bed tonight, just list like consistency killers that are like, just do 3 or 4 to get started, and then choose one you're going to tackle this week. Okay, and cut it. So whether it's this, whether you turn this, let's say you're on this and you're fucking scrolling at night. So my challenge to you would be turn this off. Let's just say at 1800. Go and put it in a cupboard or a drawer, or go and put it on charge somewhere in a different room so it's not there or accessible. Okay. And then don't turn it on until you finish your morning routine, when you got to go and put your morning accountability up. Okay. And then set a rule that you can't scroll on social media until midday. So you then go the whole evening and the whole morning till lunchtime without being on social media. That is a fucking challenge, right? And you're like, fucking hell, I'm going to get all twitchy. But I can guarantee you that if you can get that squared away by the end of Sunday, man, that I know for a fact that that will change the game for you mentally and emotionally in terms of being distracted. Okay, you're then not tolerating the distraction. What we're saying is that scrolling on social media is not more. Being with family is more important than scrolling on social media. So we're not tolerating this, but what we're doing is raising our standards and doing what we said we were going to do in terms of being more present, having more peace, not comparing ourselves to every fucking Jack Larry and influencer on social media, but you're connecting more with yourself and your identity. Okay. And then I've put here install a replacement habit that serves your growth, stack it with an existing routine. Fucking speak to your missus. Like the number of men that I speak to that don't open up and communicate and connect with their missus, play fucking Uno. Like instead of being on your phone looking through Instagram, grab Uno, strip poker, fucking Scrabble. Like just something that's fucking different to what you normally do, right? Replace it with a positive thing. Get rid of the negative, bring in the positive. If you go back up here, we start looking at what you're going to start doing, what you're going to stop doing. Okay, it's huge, guys. It creates the personality. So here's how we can lock it in, right? So ruthless accountability. Hold yourself to the same standard, whether it's watching, whether someone's watching or not. The majority of the time, you've got to just do this for you. You've got to put an alarm in your phone in the morning that says at 19:30 post accountability. Tomorrow it's Wednesday check-in. Stick a post here, an alarm that goes off at 12:30. It says Wednesday check-in. Get in there. Your non-negotiables are your weekly planning, your Wednesday check-in, your morning accountability, attending this mastermind, and every other week with the Monday mission room, or just at least getting to one a month, and then doing the work that are in the classrooms. Okay, so there's 5 there. They're all in the classroom for you to just, if you did those 5 and you're accountable to them, I can promise you're going to move forward, right? Do what needs doing regardless of mood or circumstance. So disciplined action, unwavering standards, never compromise on your non-negotiables ever. Okay. You would never set a bad example for your kids. So don't set a bad example for yourself. Okay. It's as simple as that. And then the self-trust restoration. Keep small promises to yourself until larger ones become automatic. This is huge. You've got to keep your own promises to yourself. If I kept on breaking promises to you, if I said, right, guys, show up at 1900 and I missed it, and then we did it, I'm going to do it on Thursday, guys, and I missed it, That trust, you'd lose that trust that I could deliver. Okay. And it's really important that you keep your own promises because that otherwise you form an identity that where you can't even trust yourself to do something. Oh, have you ever heard people say, I just don't trust myself? I just don't fucking trust myself. And you're like, fucking get a grip of yourself. It's fucking out. You're building your standards. It's the baseline, lads. Okay, so let me just quickly go through the spreadsheet so you can see. Okay, consistency killers. Here we go. Look, name the specific habits. Pick the one major consistency killer, the one that you're going to attack. Okay, then closing the loop. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this here, and then we'll go through it on the thing. So closing the loop. All right, so this is almost like a statement of intent that I want you to put up on school. It would be really interesting to see out of the people that are here who's going to do this and who's not going to do this. Okay, so I've just put an example here. Lead like the man that you're becoming, not the one you are comfortable being. Okay, so you want to lead like the man that you're becoming, not the one that you're comfortable. Okay, so what's the one standard I will protect at all costs this week? Okay, and that gets you thinking here. You can write it, post it in school, comment it, and get it up, right? I'll come to that bit in a minute. And that's what we're looking at here, okay? So the one thing I'm cutting, the one trait I'm locking in, my protected standards, keep it short. Okay, I think that's enough there. So I'm going to do some questions. So the bonus checklist here is that I would do this weekly, guys, every Sunday. If you want to share it, great. If not, so these are things that you can add into your weekly planning. Okay, did I lead like the man that I'm becoming? Yes or no? What slipped? What stayed strong? And what's my next 1% adjustment? I mean, this is literally like a fucking blueprint to show up, guys, of how to win, of how to get to that place, right? Oh god, I thought I hadn't fucking recorded that then. What we learned. Anyone want to come on? What have we learned? What have you taken away? Just stick your hand up if you want to come on. Let's go, James Childs. He is here. Look at him.
Do the work.
You better not be fucking working.
No, do the work.
Do the
Do
work.
your work.
So James is the guy that I was talking about earlier. So welcome, James, and good lad for being on here and being open. Like, we had a really, really good chat today. Were you boys buzzing that you were there?
Yeah, I got cuddled. I literally, yeah, one of them still pretty much buzzing. It was a rare sight. So, yeah, it was nice. It was a
It's,
nice walk, a
it's
rare walk.
one that will be much more frequent. Again, like, you're at the very start of your journey. So your identity is going to monumentally shift over the next 12 months. So it's good for you to be right here at right now, um, and get to the
I've
place.
got a lot of easy 1%. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's like when someone's got a lot of weight to lose, someone's drastically overweight, you lose the weight really, really quick. And then when you become closer to that optimal weight, that's when it's even harder, right? Um, what's the one thing you're going to take away, Jim?
Um, just that by making the big changes, because I mean, we spoke earlier and you were talking about getting up at 4:30 and you just talked about getting into an ice bath, and I've seen this from a distance, and I'm just thinking, not only are you getting up at 4:30, but you want me to go and dunk myself in a big fucking bath of ice. I'm not quite sure I'm ready for that path yet, but look, it obviously works. So many people do it. I don't know whether it's the shock and awe factor, but fuck it. If that's what's gonna kind of break that cycle of me, like I said, my habits are I'll sometimes, well, more often than not, I'll work till 3 o'clock in the morning and I'll give up any kind of, you know, journey to the bedroom with my wife, and because I'm just constantly doing stuff and I find that as the quiet time. So if getting up at even 6:30 in the morning it is going to kind of give me that headspace so I can.
Yeah.
You see, I haven't had that. You talk about doing that, all that early stuff. It's giving me that headspace to start to plan and organize my day. I think that in itself is going to be a massive game changer. And even since
Yeah.
our conversation this morning, my whole mindset started to change a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping that's not going to be like the fat guy trying to lose a load of weight, and after a couple of days, you just feel can't be bothered with this. I used to be a fat guy too. I was 23 stone like 8, 9 years ago, but stress has just completely annihilated all of that. So,
Oh, look.
yeah,
Good
I'm all
man.
good.
So remember what I said in the message. You don't need to do 4:15. Just get up an hour early than you normally would, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. One step at a time. Good man. Well done, James. Um, who else? Yep. Go, Mark.
Hi there. Yeah, my big takeaway is that I think I've just recognised the fact now that I just need to kind of sharpen my focus a little bit. I like to think I'm pretty damn consistent on things. I've got my plans, my goals. I'm working towards those on a consistent basis. But I think I just need to kind of do that self-assessment, do
I
that kind
agree.
of audit a little bit, just to kind of refocus, just sharpen up that bit, you know?
Yeah. Do you know what's interesting is that I would consider you being someone that is very, very consistent. And the problem when you're consistent for so long is that you have to fight the next battle. It's always the next battle, right? So the next battle
Yeah,
then is complacency because you become
yeah,
very comfortable at the consistency level that you've got. So then what we have to look at for someone like you, Mark, is then go, right, okay, what's that next level look like? Like when we talk
yeah,
about sharpening up, when we talk about sharpening up your habits and your focus or your vision, it's like what does that look like? And and for you and everyone else, it's really integral part of then finding an environment where you spend time to think about that. We can't think about that. We cannot develop that. If I was sitting here right now and the kids were up and down and screaming, I couldn't concentrate delivering this to you right now, right? But what I am in is in the office, the kids are down and everything's quiet. So we can all think here right now. Everyone's in a position to give attention to what I'm talking about. But if we try to do this and fucking hell, and there's kids running around and the wife's shouting, planning to plan or planning to audit or planning to be more self-aware has to be one where we put ourselves in an environment where we go, I need some peace. Peace is huge for a man. Huge,
mm,
huge, huge. Peace is like a cowboy with his fucking handgun and his sling, right? It's key. It's the key, and we never progress unless we find that peace. So I think for you, it's a case of you have a really good opportunity. And by the way, I still haven't forgot to get back to you for dates, so don't worry.
yeah,
It's getting up in the mountain, but that's what I need. Like I need to go out with you on the mountain and just fucking clear. Once we've done all of this work that we're doing right now on this project, it's then going right. I fucking want to go and find myself and have that peace and have that talk,
yeah,
and that's that's so important. So that's great that you recognize that as well.
yeah. It's because I've got a couple of ideas about what I want to do, and I'm really kind of keen for them, but I've been sort of procrastinating a little bit, and I kind of want to find out why.
Yeah,
What is it that's kind of making me hesitant?
yeah.
You know?
It,
Um,
it's probably the fact that now you've been, I would say you've been comfortable for a long time. And it's
yeah,
now, it's the fact that you've got to stretch yourself again. And whenever we stretch, do you remember the step analogy that I always talk about?
yeah.
When you're ready to go to the next step, you then start to feel a little bit anxious. You feel a
A little bit
like,
itchy.
little bit itchy, little bit like it's all, but that's just part of the process of getting to the next level.
Yeah,
And with that comes fear and like, oh my God, Jesus Christ. So, it's exciting, but it's also hard.
yeah, yeah. I think I need to do that.
Good man. Good lad. Right. Dale,
Hello.
what's happening?
Yeah, my main sort of takeaway is that I just need to sort of strike a bit of a balance with what I've started to do really well, and I've been using sort of with the journaling, like habit tracking and stuff like that. And I need to not focus away from the things I've started to get right, but I need to start bringing everything else up along with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think sort of this is going to be a way of me being able to highlight, well, no, look, I know what I'm doing all right now, but these are the things that I'm not paying as much attention to as I should. And I'm going to just try and use it to sort of baby step
Yeah.
everything else to try and catch myself up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's almost like like a lag in a computer game or something when you're trying to play
Yeah.
it and trying to catch it up, isn't it? It's trying to connect with that. Um, so I think like what are the things that you should be paying more attention to? Give me one idea.
I mean, one thing that I've always needed to work on, never do, I always kind of shy away from it, is my self-confidence and how I view me.
Yeah.
So I do all these other things and I go, oh, right, I'm really consistent. My journaling's good. I'm sleeping better. I'm eating better. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But I still think I'm a piece of shit. Like
Have
it's a
you cut off
crazy
all
one.
the hair as well?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, mate. You're looking like
There's
super sharp.
there's a logical answer to it. I got too hot in half term. I woke up one morning after not really sleeping and just went,
You look
no,
like a
it's
different man, doesn't he?
oh,
You've
no,
been with us that long.
horrendous.
Fucking hell, I love it. So I think the key is like I spoke about that. Don't tolerate speaking to yourself like that. Have the
Yeah,
respect for yourself to go, I'm not fucking talking. You wouldn't allow me to talk to you like that. And you wouldn't allow anyone to talk to your wife like that. And you wouldn't allow anyone to talk to fucking your mates like that. Do you know what I mean? So like
yeah,
don't tolerate it for yourself. I put this up in the group the other day. I think I put a little piece on this, and it was like a little carousel. Have that fucking strong mind that you're good enough, and everything you're doing is good enough. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to keep that. That's the standard for you. If you look at one of your first ones to
yeah,
build that identity, you've got to get that version of you out of your head,
yeah.
or that identity will never change. Okay.
That's sort of where I'm pushing.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh,
Mate, you're looking good, mate. Looking good. Fucking hell.
Thank you.
Good lad. Good lad. Shit. All right, Alex.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah, thing for me, I guess, is be truthful. Often I can spin myself a yarn, and it's just not the right way to do things. Key thing is, am I asking myself the right questions? Not always. The great thing is on here, there's targeted questions to ask myself, which is
Yeah.
really helpful.
Yeah.
And then one of the big things I've took away is there is a lot of information in this last hour, and
Yeah.
I found it hard to take it in one go.
Oh yeah.
So the
Yeah.
first thing for me is I'm going to have to go over this,
Yeah.
the information and the and tonight, just
Yeah.
to get it right in my own head. And that's my step one,
Yeah.
because I've recognised I've not taken it all in, and I want to.
Well, tomorrow morning I will put this up on the podcast, so you can
Yeah.
listen back to it and do the work. And
Yeah.
and then I'm going to stick it up on YouTube as well. And when it's all up, it will all be in the resources for you to watch back with the audit and everything else, so you can kind of go.
Yeah.
It's a really good point. There's a lot to take in, right? There's a lot to take in there, and there's stuff that I always think, what's the golden nugget? What's the one thing that's going to stand out? You're going to take away from this, like not immediately that you take into your life, and then what's the thing that you can build on it over the next 2 weeks, where you can start adding to the piece, right? And it's like the old models that you used to make. You used to fucking do a bit, glue it, and then a couple of days later you go back and add the other bits, and you're slowly just constructing your life. That's what you're doing, right? You're taking people whiz through stuff, so they're like, I want to read fucking 400 books in a year, and you're like, you don't take anything in. It's like read a book, then read a chapter and implement the chapter, and then review that chapter. And did you do everything in it? And then go to the next chapter. And that's what you want to be looking at, mate. And it's a really, really good point. And in terms of all of your developments, guys, is like one little step, one little bit. As long as you're progressing, if you get to the end of the day and you look at it and go, I've progressed, that's what we're aiming for. Every single one of you should be looking to go, have I progressed today in some way? And I'm like, yeah, you have. Then you're winning. then you're winning. The real battle is with your ego and going, oh, well, I haven't won enough, have I? And you're like, what is enough? If you've progressed, if you look at James today, like massive breakthroughs, right? What's tomorrow's breakthrough? What's tomorrow's breakthrough? What's tomorrow's breakthrough? And it only has to be one small win, guys. And that's what I'm talking about. You want to feel that progression. That's the complete thing. All right. The day that you don't feel progression, that's when you have to really challenge yourself. Yeah, makes sense. Great points, Alex. Thank you. Ryan and then Callum.
Hey up, dude, you all right?
Hey up, mate.
Hey up, mate, all right.
Fucking Saturday is gonna be bosh.
Oh, you're gonna go back home speaking like a Yorkshireman.
Oh, how's it
Yeah.
going?
Yeah, good, thank you. So that thing that we spoke about on Friday
Oh yeah.
has already got plans in place.
Good. See?
As I said to you on Friday as well, which I put in the chat as well, the burner phone is just like a game changer.
Yeah.
So obviously, as you know, I basically put my Samsung on flight mode, transfer out calls, and it's only an SMS, it's not even WhatsApp. Goes to a £20 Nokia in evenings, and that's it, done. But a couple of things I took away from tonight is set your own standards. Don't compare yourself to everybody else, which is obviously what everybody gets lost in on social media, myself included, being guilty of that. And don't settle for good enough.
Yeah,
That was a good one.
Excellent.
Like
Excellent. Mate, it's good. I'm glad you got those bits, and then obviously you can build on this from Saturday as well.
Yeah, cool. Nice one.
All right, see you then. Safe trip.
Love it.
Callum, you just gotta mute yourself there, kiddo.
Hello.
Champ, how's it going?
Good, very good. Main key takeaway I've taken from that was the major roadblock I had a few weeks ago is replacing it with a positive habit. I've been doing Muay Thai 4 days a week just now, so it's just that sort of shift has also helped me with my self-confidence, because that's the other thing. I had a terrible self-confidence. I would always say I'll do this and that and then just never follow through with it. I think that was the biggest thing I've taken from here. The key thing would be the positive habit switch. That's key, because if I don't have something to focus my energy into, then I'm just a nightmare and go back to old ways. But also that sort of self-confidence, as you say about your standards, raising your standards. I think that's the biggest thing I've taken from it, is just that self-confidence to actually follow through with your action. But that's the biggest sort of thing I've found, especially this habit swap, has been monumental.
Can you see how your broken trust with yourself or breaking promises affects the confidence?
Yes, big time.
Yeah.
Last week during Muay Thai, I got kicked, national champion. I was on the pads and I got kicked in the stomach, so I wasn't holding it properly and ran through the toilet. Spewed came in my back and my brain was going, right, being stuck in, just give up, take the rest of the class off. And I was like, no, you spewed, just get on with it. And I managed to just get over that. And ever since that sort of, I don't even know how to, it's like a mental switch off my head. I'm like, oh, okay, you're actually a lot more resilient than you think. It's just pushing through and getting through that mental fog of, oh, I don't want to do this, or oh, I would rather eat shite, or all that crap. And I don't know what it is. It was just a mental switch went off in my head. I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm actually able to push a bit further. And each day I'm noticing.
You don't even realize how far you can go. I used to joke, some of the lads that have been here for a while, right? So I used to joke and say that if I started chasing you with an axe running down the road, you'd certainly fucking run, and you'd fucking keep until you fucking outrun me. Right? And you suddenly what you thought I could only do 5k, and then 10 miles in, and I'm still chasing you with an axe. You're like, I never thought I could get this. And one of our guys here demonstrated that. Peter, he's been with us a long time, and his challenge, it was a February of 2022, I think, and his challenge was to do 10 miles by October. And I told him that he had to go out and enter for a marathon, not 10 miles. So he had to do a marathon rather than 10 miles, and he did 10 miles in 3 weeks. And it's all here but it's by what we set up, every single one, which is why you're here, right? Because we're trying to push you. We're trying to push you a little bit further, trying to change your belief system, etc. So yeah, really good points, Callum. Well done as well.
No, thank you. Yeah, no, it's bigger. It's a big evidence that's building. I also read it in Atomic Habits. It's just about
Yes.
bridging that gap to your
Yeah.
identity and building the evidence slowly so that you're
Yeah.
when you have a bad day, you're like, well, no, I've done all this, so you can carry on. You just got to push yourself.
100%. And it's connecting with that. It's build the man, and then everything else will follow. When the man is built, the business, the career, the relationships, the health, everything will come. But it's all the process. You can't sit around expecting it. It's really, 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 really fucking hard work. It's really hard work.
Yeah.
And all the
Yeah.
bullshit you see in social media, oh, you can do this and you can do that. You can't. You've got all of you have got to go through struggle. Like to appreciate the wealth of your hard work, you have to struggle to get this. I had to go through 32 weeks of pure fucking crawling through gorse, running 30 mile, like hell, just to get a fucking green beret. But it wasn't just a green beret, it's a mission. And this is your mission, right? This is your mission. And then whether it's 32 weeks, 32 fucking months, whatever it is, it's do I get one step closer every single day? You just fucking tick off. And I used to have a tally sheet for every day that I would be in training. And at the end of each day, you just cross that out. And that's how many days left. You're just going to keep going. So that then formed the identity. Okay. Cool. Nice, guys. Right. I've got to go. Got to go and watch fucking Tom Hardy and fucking Mobland. But great to see you all. I'd love for all your feedback over the next couple of days of school. Please fucking make an effort to get into school and share some of your thoughts on this over the next 2 to 3 to 4 days over the week. I will put all the resources in tomorrow at some point so you can follow, you can get all of this up. I'll put this up as a podcast tomorrow, and you can listen back, and then I'll get it up on YouTube video as well. All right, nice to see you all. Take care. See you all.